What's good, y'all? It's the one and only Nappyhead Fred coming back to y'all with another album review of Trippie Redd's Life's a Trip. This is Trippie Redd's first studio album released August 10th, 2018 under 10,000 Projects and Caroline Distribution. Hopefully I said that right. I did that like a couple times, but let's just get into it.
Together ain't no holding on by myself, yeah.
First song we got on here is Together. I feel like for the first track, it's not good, but it's not bad neither. It's really one of those songs where I was expecting like a beat drop, and I didn't really get that within this song. Which, honestly, I'm not going to lie, kind of made me fall back on the song. I was expecting just something there, and it just wasn't there enough. But I do feel like the production is very unique. It has kind of the instruments in the background, which I think is a nice touch overall. But I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time, there is no beat type. It's really just the guitar in the background, and it really ain't much else to it. But I feel like performance-wise was pretty unique by Trippie Redd, the way he was able to just give us a creative sound that we've never heard before other than him. So I feel like that part is a positive, but I feel like for the rest of the song, especially as a whole, like I said, it's not a bad song, but it's not necessarily a good song neither. So it's just kind of one of those songs that are just there. Like, it's not a song that you listen to all the time, consistently at least. So I would kind of say it's a mid song just because I don't see myself listening to it that often.
So they think I wanna die, yeah, cause my dose is suicide, yeah, bet my...
Next song we got on here is Taking a Walk. I thought this song was honestly pretty good, especially the production I think was well put together. I definitely love the beat type. It definitely has a really sounded beat type that I feel like you could nod your head to, catch a good vibe to. And overall, the sound of the production I feel like was well put together, just having those different sounds that I feel like blend in very well. Now, getting into the lyrics, I know Trippie Redd isn't the most lyrical, so I'm not going to judge him too hard on just pure lyrics. But I do feel like his wordplay was honestly very acceptable. I feel like his sound was very good as well. There wasn't too much he was doing that was too over-exaggerated. I feel like he flowed through the track very well. This is definitely just one of those tracks that I feel like you could really vibe to, that you could like just play and people just get a good, laid back sound to. I will say this is definitely one of the better songs on the album, if not the best song on the album. That may be a little too far-fetched, but I feel like it's very enjoyable overall, and I would honestly say it's a good song generally.
Baby, what you wishing for? Maybe you should wish it more. Maybe the world...
Next song we got on here is Wish featuring Trippie Redd. Not quite sure why he featured himself, but hey, it works for me. I feel like this is another one of those songs where it's not necessarily good, but it's not necessarily bad either. I just feel like the sound of the production is very like low quality, but it somewhat brings nostalgic in a way. Because it sounds like something like just old school a little bit, maybe like the mid-90s kind of production. I feel like the beat type overall was kind of janky at times. I just feel like an upgraded production with the sound that it has would have been so much better for the whole like scenario of this like production pretty much. So at the end of the day, I don't hate the production, but I don't love it neither. There just could have been a perfect balance with it, and I just don't really feel like it brought that, and that was kind of disappointing. If I really want to judge his singing performance, I feel like I have to. His singing performance isn't nothing on par with like any R&B singers necessarily. But I do feel like his singing performance is acceptable from Trippie Redd's standards, because I do feel like he enjoys, singing in most of his songs, and he enjoys having a solid performance overall. So I'm not mad at it. I feel like it was acceptable, but it's just not a song I would consistently listen to like that. So again, another kind of mid song, but it's not a song I would necessarily skip, but it's just like, it's not a song I would pay attention to neither.
That's the motto, so for any nigga on that sucker shit, I'm no ho, bro. Might just have to drop a bomb, Han Solo.
Next song we got on here is Missing My Idols. I honestly enjoyed this song quite a bit. It definitely caught me by surprise. I feel like the main reason why it did catch me by surprise because I wasn't expecting kind of a freestyle from Trippie Redd at all within this song. Or I should say at all within this album. And I feel like his rap performance was definitely like, again, just caught me by surprise and very, very good. But I definitely don't want to skip over the production. I feel like the beat type was amazing. The sound of the production, of the sampling was really good too. But I feel like ultimately Trippie Redd's performance was the biggest highlight of this entire song, especially the way he flowed through the track. I thought was very acceptable. This is just one of those songs where it's going to catch you by surprise if you've heard past Trippie Redd songs and you maybe didn't enjoy them as much, but then when you hear this song particularly, you're like, wow, this is actually very good. So I would argue definitely one of the more underrated songs within this album, if not the most underrated song in his entire catalog, just to sum it up like that. But definitely just very enjoyable. I don't see much wrong with this. I mean, lyricism isn't like crazy on here, but I feel like his wordplay is definitely there. Out on here is Forever Ever featuring Reese LaFray. Hopefully I said that name right. And Young Thug. I don't think this song is that bad, but it's just like it took too long to get within the song, if you know what I mean. I feel like maybe 30 or 40 seconds within the song, it's basically like nothing. And I'm not gonna lie, that's what kind of bores me when you get into the next track. It just feels like a huge gap with a song that could have just been more lengthier if you were just gonna do that. So overall, I feel like that was the most disappointing part. But I feel like rap performance-wise wasn't too bad. I guess I shouldn't really expect much because Trippie Redd isn't that kind of rapper and neither is Young Thug, but like I just feel like their performance wasn't as bad because, you know, I feel like it matched the production overall. Which, getting into the production, I feel like the production was very slow paced but very vibey at the same time. It had a little bit of that piano chorus in there and I thought that was a really nice touch. But overall, I feel like the performance was honestly very acceptable. So I feel like this is like one of the songs where I'm okay with it, but it's not a song I would listen to consistently. But I would say a good song overall.
What a word, hey, shitty niggas, you some turds, hey, hating on the boy cause I'm in first.
Next song we got on here is Bird. Let's just say Poop for the video. I mean, why not? I feel like this song was honestly pretty good. I enjoyed it quite a bit, if I'm being honest. I feel like the production was definitely the most enjoyable, especially with the beat type and just the sound of the production was very, very enjoyable. Probably, I would say, the best production within this album. But I feel like overall Trippie Redd's performance was really good. I feel like he was able to flow through the track very well with his different, like, you know, sounds that I feel like still match till this day. And I feel like this is just one of those songs that I genuinely feel like you could just play out at a park or when you hooping or just, it's really just that kind of song that's meant for a playlist pretty much. So I feel like it's very fitting overall. I really can't say much wrong with this song. I feel like it's definitely one of the more underrated songs on this album, if not the most underrated song within his catalog. And I do feel like it needs to get paid attention to more because to me it's definitely a complete song when we're talking about Trippie Redd standards.
Yeah, Desert Eagle, let it roar. Yeah, let it back.
Next song we got on here is Bang. I'm not mad at this song. Again, it's another one of those songs where it's not necessarily good to me, but it's not bad neither. I feel like the most enjoyable part about this song is definitely the production. I like just the different instrument sounds you hear. I feel like the beat type is a little too much. I feel like it's a little too boosted bass kind of oriented, which I didn't really enjoy that much. But overall, the sound of the production I think was amazing. I just didn't really like the beat type as much. But I feel like when we go into the lyrics, that's where I'm kind of iffy on because I do feel like his sound is very unique, but I genuinely feel like the hook was just like, I don't know, it made sense, but I just didn't enjoy it that much. And I feel like his lyrics, I mean, definitely holds a message that needs to be said, but I just don't feel like it was that important to really pay attention to. And I feel like the production low-key kind of took over his sound, so maybe that's it. But if I'm being honest, I would say this is still a pretty good song. I feel like it's listenable in some aspects in a way, but you just have to be in the mood for it. I'll just say that.
Out in a while, but yesterday was too wild. I guess I wanna know how.
Next song we got on here is How You Feel. Just right off the bat, if y'all are expecting to listen to a rap song, this is far from it. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing, but like with me doing a rap album review, it doesn't really match what I'm trying to really listen to. I feel like the production, I mean, from a rock standpoint, it could be good, but from a rap standpoint, I don't really understand it that much. Not only that, there's no beat type to it. It's really just a ongoing guitar sound, and I feel like it's enjoyable in some ways, but I'm just not into like rock and roll like that. So I couldn't really figure it out. I feel like his performance, again, it's good for rock and roll. For rap, I can't really vibe with it like that. It threw me off. I feel like I can appreciate his creativity overall, but creativity on a rap album, I just don't think really works for me. So, um, I don't know. If I had to choose the worst song, I would probably choose this song only because it's not really a rap song, and that's about it.
Guap, count my guap. All these racks bumming in, they bumming in. Hold up.
Next song we got on here is Dark Knight Damo featuring Travis Scott. Obviously one of the biggest songs on this album, if not the biggest song in Trippie Redd's catalog. I remember when I heard this song for the first time, I was like, dude, who is this dude? And that's when I discovered Trippie Redd, pretty much around this time. This song is obviously very huge, very big, but I feel like the most impressive part was the production, just giving you kind of that, horror story or horrorcore kind of sound, but obviously a unique beat type that I thought really blended in very well. But I think the most important part, which obviously it's not the production, it is the rap performance of Trippie Redd. Trippie Redd's performance was absolutely amazing. I feel like he matched the vibe of the production overall. He didn't miss a beat. I'll just say that now. And then having Travis Scott as a feature was obviously a huge upgrade because Travis Scott was literally on top of the world at this time. And I feel like overall they made a really good collab. Not to say that I didn't think they were, but around this time Trippie Redd was just getting started in the industry, so we don't know how well he could have worked with certain artists at that time. But I do feel like they definitely should make more music together, and this is really just an anthem song that I haven't heard in quite some time, but I am listening to more consistently because it definitely brings back nostalgic and just memories in general.
Said I made y'all. How could I be mad that I ain't y'all? Same reason.
Next song we got on here is Yuka Yuka. Hopefully I'm saying that right because I kind of sound dumb even saying it now. I do feel like this song is definitely one of the more interesting songs throughout the whole album because it has such a totally different sound compared to a lot of the other songs on here. It definitely just sounds like a reverse, like kind of beat production that just is pretty much reversed, so it's like a loop. And I feel like that's very unique and very creative for the most part. But I feel like Trippie Redd's vibe to this was it was okay. I just wish he was a little more energetic in a way. He just sounded too low key, and I feel like the song could have been better if he had like a better energy within it. But I feel like for a short song, I can't really complain because I do feel like the production is very unique and very creative. And I feel like his sound overall wasn't bad, but I just genuinely wish he would have like up it a little bit more. But honestly, I would say a pretty solid song. It's not the worst song, but it's not the best song. So again, it's one of those like in the middle kind of songs that you'll listen to, but only if you're in the mood for it.
Call 'em boy, rubber fight, baby shake that ass, shake that pumpkin pie, twin sister.
Next song we got on here is Shake It Up. I'ma just be honest with y'all. I think this is probably one of the cringiest songs I've heard in a very long time. The reason why I am saying that because I feel like the hook is very like it's just so like I really do not like it. Like when he says shake that pumpkin pie, like I've never heard nobody said that ever in life, and that's what made it so cringe. So the hook I don't think is very good. I just feel like it's too much. But I can appreciate the effort he's putting in by making like a twerking song because I feel like every rapper likes to do that every now and then. But before I dislike the wordplay he's using or just the context of the song that he's doing, I do feel like the production is very acceptable and I feel like it's creative for the most part. Having kind of the flute in the background with a really good beat type, I feel like definitely made it a pretty good song. But again, the lines he was using throughout this song were very cringe and if I'm being honest, I would never want to hear this song again because I genuinely feel like I don't know, he just chose really corny lines that I just didn't enjoy. So overall, I would say a mid song, but that's really about it.
Every day I keep it real and get that bag, ho, cause that shit up for grabs, ho. Put that on my tab, ho.
Next song that we got on here is Oomp's Revenge. Definitely very, very enjoyable song and another surprise song that caught me off guard that wind up being very enjoyable and I'll tell y'all why. I think the biggest reason is I think he really paid attention to detail within this song. And that's not to say he didn't pay attention to detail within the other songs, but I feel like he definitely paid attention to the quality of the sound and just overall just the sound in general that I feel like was very important within this album. I feel like when we start off with the production, it definitely gives you that nostalgic 90s feel, a really good sampling with a really good beat type and the piano in the background I thought was very unique and very creative. But I feel like overall Trippie Redd's just vibe to this song. I feel like he was able to just be very mellow with it and very just understanding with his lyrics. This is really just one of those songs that are kind of hidden gems that I feel like people don't pay attention to. So overall, I feel like this is an underrated song and definitely needs to get paid attention to more. And I feel like, you know, unique songs like this definitely just needs to get listened to. So if y'all haven't checked this song out, I advise y'all listen to this song because I feel like you can't really hate on this song. I feel like everything is perfectly balanced. Next song we got on here is Gore. I'm not gonna lie, not the best title to come up with, but I feel like overall from context standpoint, maybe it makes sense. I feel like the production was okay. I feel like the beat type really took over the whole song because I do feel like the beat type was really good. But usually that means the performance-wise wasn't really that good neither. And I feel like, you know, the only thing he based it off of was really the hook. Which, again, I don't want to judge his lyrics because I know he's not a lyrical rapper. He's not a spitter like that. But I feel like when the hook is that overpowering and the beat type is that overpowering over your rap performance, I feel like that's where you lose me a little bit. So I feel like this is definitely just one of those songs that you play and people won't pay attention to it, but they'll just get a little nice vibe to it, and that's really all there is to this song, honestly.
I don't have anyone's shoulder anymore.
The last song we have on this album is Underwater Fly Zone. This is definitely like one of those songs where I feel like you definitely have to pay attention to the lyrics. And I know I just said earlier when it comes to lyrics, maybe you don't have to pay attention to, but I feel like within this song, it's definitely an important message that he's trying to spill. Basically, him just explaining about dealing with depression, dealing with like everyday just society in general, which I feel like is very relatable to around people my age or maybe even younger. I feel like the message, like I said, is very important. I feel like the creativity with the production is lacking a little bit, which I feel like for storytelling songs, I can give it a pass sometimes, but I feel like for the last song, I feel like you gotta come out with a bang, and to end the song on this note, especially with all the better songs above this one, it's kind of just a downward slope. If I'm being honest, I just don't feel like this song really matches the energy of the album in general. I just feel like it's kind of one of those throw-in songs, and that's the only thing that's really holding this song back from being like great, at least. So at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's bad, but it's definitely not a song you could listen to consistently. And it's not really a song I would honestly go back to. Like, I'm not looking to listen to this song because, again, there's just better storytelling songs out there. But I can understand from a perspective of just anybody that goes through that kind of depression and stuff. This could be the listenable song. But personally, it's just not a song I would listen to like that. So that's really all I gotta say about that. But with all that being said, it is time to get to the final thoughts. My final thoughts on this album, a very up and down kind of album, and I feel like that's what makes it really hard to judge. And what I mean by that is I feel like there are some really good highlighted songs on here, and then there are some very mid low tier kind of songs that I feel like don't even need to be on the album. I feel like the most impressive part is his creativity on just the sound, but honestly, his sound in general, he doesn't sound like any other rapper I've heard before, so he's definitely very unique on that term. But I feel like when you make a rap album, I feel like you have to make it rap oriented, and I feel like he kind of went off the scale a couple times that kind of threw me off. Now, I've known Trippie Redd. Well, I won't say I've known him like in person, but I've heard of Trippie Redd pretty much since high school, so around the 2018 kind of era. So I know what sound to expect, but it's just when I had first listened to the album, I was hoping it would just be fully rap oriented. And I feel like personally it just didn't give me that, and I just think his performance wise, I feel like was very unique, but it just it wasn't consistent enough to keep me engaged. So overall, I feel like albums like this are very hard to judge because you don't want to think bad of it, but you don't want to think highly of it neither. Like, if I had to think, is this the best Trippie Redd album? Even though I have not listened to the rest of his albums, would I think this is the best Trippie Redd album? Probably not, but I feel like for a debut, it is a pretty solid start overall. But it's just, again, this is just one of those albums where it lack consistent playback. Like, you'll go from one good song, then to one mid song, then to one good song, then to one mid song. So it's very inconsistent, and that's really the biggest problem within the album. But with all that being said, I'm giving this album a 6 out of 10. That will conclude today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all did, like, subscribe, and comment down below what other albums y'all want me to do. Also, click the link down in my description for all my social medias. But yeah, I'll catch y'all next time, man.